my top 10 greatest NBA players of all times. Before I get started, you brothers subscribe, like, share the video because you're going to love this one. So, without further ado, let's get into it. My top 10 greatest NBA players of all time. Number 10, Hakeem Olajuwon. The most skilled center of all time. The Hakeem Olajuwon was just so special, man. I mean, he may be number 10 on my list, but I can't find many players in their prime that was better than him. Maybe 3 or 4, maybe 5. Michael Jordan, Bill Russell, Kareem, Bird, Magic. Him and LeBron is debatable. I'm talking about in their prime. But for overall career, I'm going to put him at number 10. Because the thing about Hakeem Olajuwon, later on in his years, around like from 96 to like 99, he sort of fell off. He was still good, but he wasn't great as he was in the past and in his prime. So I couldn't put him in the top 5 or, from that 5 to 8 range because those years I seen him kind of fall off a little bit, even though he was still good. Because y'all remember when he had the super team with Charles Barkley and Scottie Pippen, they didn't do like everybody suspected them to do. They won the NBA title, and with him having Barkley and Scottie Pippen on that team and not going to the finals, I had to knock him down a little bit. It was a super team. But Hakeem is number 10 on my list. And I don't think most people will have Olajuwon in their top 10. A lot of people don't realize how good this man was. I mean, when it comes to shot blocking, the greatest shot blocking center of the modern era. No doubt about it. Now, he's not the greatest shot blocker of all time. That's Bill Russell. But far as like modern day players, from like the 19 on to the present, definitely the greatest shot blocker of all time. Dominator on defense, one of the greatest defensive players of all time. And his skill in the post was just unbelievable, which we all know that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, all of them was taught by Olajuwon about post play and things like that. I mean, him just and passing out of the double teams, he was such a great passer out of the double team. It was just unbelievable to watch. I mean, people talking about Jokic passing and the center and Sabonis, one of the first European players to come over here. Hakeem Olajuwon can pass that basketball in that post. So Hakeem Olajuwon, to me, I got him at number 10. If Hakeem Olajuwon was a couple of inches taller, might have been the greatest center of all time. That man said his skill set was just phenomenal. And like I said before, his shot blocking ability was just amazing. And a lot of people didn't pay attention to his shot blocking ability because he was so great on offense. And he was too busy dominating, especially in 1994 and 1995 when they won back championship. He dominated so much offensively, people forgot about how great he was defense. So Hakeem Olajuwon, number 10 on my list. No doubt about it. The great Kobe Bean Bryant. Now, I know some of you Kobe Bryant fans, y'all upset with me and disagree. Y'all think Kobe should be high on the list. But I got Kobe Bryant number 9. And all these great NBA players that we don't have to come through the league and to be number 9 on anybody's list out of all them great players, it's not a knock. It's not a diss. That's a praise. So Kobe Bryant number 9. Explosive offensive player, as we all know. One of the greatest offensive players of all times. When Kobe Bryant get hot, Who gonna put that fire out? Can't nobody put that fire out. One thing I give Kobe Bryant, he may be number one for us when it comes hot and staying hot of all times. Once he get hot, it's hard to stop that brother. And I have to put him on in my top 10. Most people probably got him in the top 5, but I got him number 9. The skill set offensively, the mental toughness, his skill set, very skilled with the basketball. Took out the Michael Jordan, as we all know. The fadeaway jumper. Great defensive player, especially in his prime. That one thing I liked about Kobe, his defense on point in his prime. And I had to knock him a little bit because when he got a little older, he started slacking up a little bit on defense. He's a good defensive player. But in his prime, Kobe Bryant, he was a great lockdown defender. So you have to put Kobe on that list. The points, 35,000 points in his career. Worked on his game. When Shaq left, he matured a lot. And the hard work, I mean, Kobe, he was that dude. But I tell the Kobe fans all the time, what I have against Kobe is that you tried to copy Michael Jordan's game, and the only thing that separates him and the great Michael Jordan is, even though Kobe Bryant was similar in the shots that he took and the moves that he did on the court, Kobe Bryant, he shot a low percentage. A lot of years, Kobe Bryant didn't even shoot over 46%. If I'm not mistaken, I think Kobe Bryant best year for his percentage was Michael Jordan's worst year. And that's the reason why. Well, that's one of the reasons why I can't put him in that top 5 with the players that y'all gonna hear me say later on, because of his shooting percentage. A lot of those years, he was taking a lot of shots, but he was shooting like 44, 43, 45%. And for you basketball players out there, y'all know, watching a basketball game and watching a player like Kobe Bryant is a great offensive player, and seeing him jacking a lot of shots, but he missing a lot of shots, that gets you frustrated, that gets boring, because he missing a lot of shots, which all great players miss shots. I don't get, but that's the Michael Jordan shot. I think more shots than Bryant, per game. But Jordan shot 50%, especially in his prime. A couple of seasons he shot 53% from the field. You see what I'm saying? So that was the difference. So all this, Kobe Bryant was the closest to Michael Jordan. So he should be number 2 on the list. There was a similarity for us, like with the moves and the swagger and all. So he tried to walk like the man, talk like the man, things like that. So people got so caught up in that, they trying to say this man is the closest thing to Michael. And no. And this is going to be controversial, but the truth is the truth. Dwayne Wade is closer to Kobe Bryant than Kobe Bryant is closer to Michael. Yes, because of the things I just said. He just imitated Jordan in his charisma. He tried to imitate him in his charisma and things like that. But on the court, no. He had his stats was great, true enough. But when it comes to Michael, that comparison to Michael Jordan, it's just a difference. Michael Jordan led Chicago, which we're gonna get into later. Y'all know, with the 6 championships. And he led Chicago to 6 championships. Kobe only led 2 Lakers teams to championships. 2, and that's it. And we all know the other championships, Shaq was the best player on the team. Shaq won those final MVPs. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, we can argue all day and say Kobe should have won more MVPs. He got cheated. You could say all the great NBA players. Because, the MVP vote, especially during those days, was, about the fans and, certain people who select those MVP. So some players are gonna get cheated out of the MVP. That's just the way it goes. But Kobe Bryant definitely number 9 on my list. And I remember Phil Jackson said on the interview one time, who he between Michael Jordan and Kobe, and he said Michael Jordan because of his hands. You know what I'm saying? But they talking about just. But one thing about Jordan with his mental mentality that he's not gonna give in the early days with the Chicago Bulls. But Kobe, I remember that year with Phoenix, he gave up on the team and didn't want to shoot. People always talk about how he played with one team with the Lakers, which was a great thing, prop for staying with one team. But Kobe was gonna leave at one time. He was on my Chicago Bulls. Because I remember, because I didn't want him to come, because I didn't like the way he was trying to copy Michael Jordan. So I didn't even want Kobe to come to the Bulls, because I was a Jordan fan. And I didn't like the way he was trying to be a copycat. And it wasn't because of hating. I remember like it was yesterday, Kobe Bryant said growing up, his favorite player was Magic Johnson. And he loved the Lakers. So my thing is, if your favorite player was Magic Johnson, why are you trying to take my boy MJ? So I didn't want him to come to Chicago. And I remember he said he'll go play on Pluto. So them years, Kobe was frustrated with the Lakers, and it was just funny to me because how he was giving up on the team, and like I told you earlier, his field goal percentage was so low when Shaq first left. And I understand, the team wasn't as talented because Shaq was gone, but he was jacking a lot of shots. And he was too busy trying to be like Michael Jordan, offensively, instead of trying to make his teammates better. And of course, when Paul Gasol got on the team, and Andrew Bynum emerged and things like that, the team got better, and he got a little more mature. They started winning championships, and I give him credit for that. But Kobe Bryant percentage in the clutch wasn't really that good. I mean, he was a clutch player. He definitely was clutch. That's why I got him at number 9 on my list. He was a clutch player. But a lot of time in the clutch, Kobe Bryant missed a whole lot of shots. He missed a whole lot. A lot of times just because you're mentally tough and you're not afraid to take those shots, that don't mean that, that don't mean that, we should have 100% confident that this guy's going to make the shot. Because he tried to be like Jordan so much, he missed a lot of game-winning shots. He took a lot of bad shots when he could have just gave the ball up. So that's the reason why I got Kobe at number 9. Like I said, them bad shots, man, in the clutch. And he took, in my opinion, he took those bad shots because he was too busy trying to be like Michael Jordan. I tell people all the time, if Kobe Bryant would have kept Shaq on that team, he would have had a chance to be better than MJ. Believe it or not. Because when it comes to the NBA, they talk all that talk about stats and, playoff performance and stuff like that. But if you're a superstar player and you got those championships, you're going to be up there. So, and when I say up there, I'm talking about in the top 3 greatest 2. Because when it comes to a player like Michael Jordan, Bill Russell, and Kareem, and players like that, you got to have those championships. And see, Kobe had 5 after his career ended. If he would have stayed with Shaq, they probably would have won more. And if he would have ended up having 6 championships to match Michael Jordan or more, they probably would have put him over Michael Jordan. And see, I'm not going to lie. Back then, when I was in high school and watching Kobe Bryant play, that the first time I thought, like, man, somebody might eclipse Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? Because he played on the team with Shaq. And I'm like, oh, man. Not high school, but a couple years after high school. I take that back. But I was like, man, this dude got potential. Oh, shit, to Michael Jordan, he got this dude Shaq. He got Shaq on his team. Phil Jackson coach. And I was scared. But once I knew Kobe he wanted to be like Jordan more than anything. He wanted to surpass Jordan. But his goal more than winning. And him and Shaq kept getting into it. They announced that Shaq was traded. I was no longer scared that Kobe Bryant was going to surpass Michael Jordan. I knew it was over. Because I knew only one can play that style of one-on-one and do the things that he did. And that's Michael Jordan. It's hard to be a one-on-one player and shoot a good percentage and win and win a lot of championships without a dominant big man. So only Michael can do that. Number 8, the great Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan is number 8 on my list. 5 championships. The big fundamental. So that means Shaq was saying that he the greatest fundamentalist center of all time. Fundamental like a mug. Fundamentally sound. A great leader, one of the greatest leaders of all time. One of the greatest defensive players of all time, Tim Duncan. Even though he never won a defensive player of the year, defensively, Tim Duncan was that dude as a big man. And what I liked about Tim Duncan, he was that same defensive player in like his 15th, 16th year in the league. Tim Duncan was that dude. Great offensive player. Man, one of the best offensive power forwards in the post of all times. It's a debate between him and Kevin McHale. Charles Barkley in there too, for it's like just post moves. I tell people all the time, Tim Duncan might have been 6-0 in the finals if Greg Popovich would have left him in the game. What year that was? If I'm wrong, you brothers can correct me in the comment section. But I think it was 2014. I think. Whatever year that was, when they took him out, they took Tim Duncan out of the game. And they lost to go to the finals. I forgot who that was. But anyway, Tim Duncan would have been 6-0 in the finals. And we'll be talking about him and Michael Jordan, the only player that go 6-0 in the finals. I know it used to be a big debate about Tim Duncan and Kobe Bryant. Which career would you rather have? Who was the better player between the two? And it's a tough debate. But I'm taking Tim Duncan because of the things said about Kobe a few minutes ago. Tim Duncan, man, he just didn't hardly have any weaknesses. I know why he was kind of soft when he first came in the NBA. I used to say that all the time. As I kept watching Tim Duncan year after year after year, I changed my mind about him. Yeah, Tim Duncan, he was hard in the paint. One thing you can knock Tim Duncan for, some people can say he was a center. And to me, he was a center because of his height. You know, he just got lucky and landed on the Spurs with David Robinson. So he was power forward. And you can't knock him for that. I mean, when a blessing land in your lap, you take that blessing. And it was a blessing that he dominated at power forward. So now he's known as the greatest power forward to ever play. I can't take that from him. Yeah, I mean, I tell people all the time he was a center to me. And if he came up in the early 90s or the mid-90s or late 80s, he would have been playing center. And his career might have been different because he'd been playing against taller guys. Because when he came in 99, taller than the other power forwards, and they weren't on his level like that. But them centers, he was a center. He would have to play against Patrick Ewing, David Robinson, Elijah Wan, and Rick Smits and players. And his career might have been different. But I can't knock Tim Duncan for that. I mean, he was a power forward. He banged at power forward. And for that, I got him number 8 on the list. And if I had to pick a player to go in the trenches with me between him and Kobe Bryant, I'm rolling with Tim Duncan. And I don't think that Tim Duncan was a greater player than Hakeem Olajuwon in his prime, but Tim Duncan overall body of work gets the nudge on Hakeem. But, you know, if I'm for prime, I'm picking Hakeem all day. But just putting that work in for their whole career, I got to roll with Tim Duncan. Number 7, the great Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal, Shaq Diesel. Shaquille O'Neal was one of the big man that you talking about made a brother mad. When Shaquille O'Neal first came in the league, man, I used to be so upset because he used to kill the players I so much. I used to love Patrick Ewing. I used to love David Robinson, He came in the league, man. Whenever they play on Sundays, Patrick Ewing or David Robinson or Elijah One and all them, I'll be like, man, when I check the box score, when I check ESPN, Shaq better not have more points than Patrick Ewing, David Robinson. And I look on there, 80% of the time he'll have more points than them. As a rookie, I was like, man. And then I was just like everybody else at the time. He can't do nothing but dunk. He can't do nothing but dunk. But I was just hating. You know what I'm saying? Most people were saying that. But we weren't paying attention to his overall game. Shaq was so skilled, man. Running the floor. He can play defense. The jump hook. People didn't pay that jump hook no attention. With the left hand sometimes. And of course we know he'll dunk on you. Pass the ball good out the post. Shaq was that dude with Orlando when he first came out the league. And we ain't gonna and when he first came in the league, and when he first came in the league with Orlando, man. Shaq was that dude, man. And we know what happened when he got with the Lakers. He got a little bigger, dunking on everybody more than he ever had been dunking on everybody. Nobody couldn't stop him. Still had the jump hook. Still averaging double-digit rebounds. That's why they started calling him the most dumb player to ever play. That's what they would call him. Because of what he did with the Lakers in that paint. And nobody could hate on him because Shaq was doing his thing. I was like, man, can't nobody stop this dude. I was saying to myself, what in the world I'm going to do? This dude, man, he finna make Kobe Bryant pass my boy Michael Jordan because he dominated so much. They finna get so many titles. Just dominating in the paint. So outside of Michael Jordan, well, I'm not gonna say just Michael Jordan. Outside of Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan, that done Shaquille O'Neal in his prime, man. So 4 championships. I think he got 1 MVP. 1 or 2. I think it's 1 or 2 MVPs. Should have had more. Should have had at least 1 more. But we already discussed the MVP situation, how that go. And Shaq should be higher on the list because we know he didn't stay in shape like he should have. And Kobe used to get on to him about that. And Kobe had that right to do that. But him being out of shape a lot of them years and missing a lot of free throws would have been high on the list. But he didn't take the season serious a lot of those years like he should have took it serious. So he get knocked for that. And not from me, not just from me, but a lot of NBA analysts and all-time greats because of the way he started being out of shape and things like that. So Shaq should be in the top 3 of all times. But like I said, he didn't take it serious. So that's the reason why he later on in his career. But what he did in his prime, got an Orlando team to the finals at a young age like that, just amazing. So I got Shaq at number 7 on my list. Number 6, the LeBron Ramon James. And I know LeBron fans is upset with me and they disagree with me just like the Kobe fans. But it is what it is. I got LeBron at number 6 on my list. Not at no number 2 or number 3 like most of you guys probably think, and just like the media want him to be. I'm just going to tell you how mine and what I think it is with LeBron James. And that's number 6. Super talented. One of the greatest athletes of all time in any sport. Because he's so athletic. I give that to LeBron James. LeBron James was so athletic, still playing well to this day. That's the reason why I got him so high. And still dominating to this day. Can do it all. Pass the basketball. rebound, a great all around player. You know what I'm saying? Just an all time great. In his prime, a great defensive player, especially for like a good 4 or 5 years. LeBron was really been a great defender. When he would, den up Derrick Rose and things like that, LeBron was doing his thing on the defensive end. People just overboard with LeBron when they say things like he passed like Magic Johnson. No, he don't pass like Magic Johnson. No, he don't. LeBron James, he's a great passer. Don't get me wrong. He definitely a great passer. And to come in the league like he's doing, to be that size and to run the floor, things that he do like passing the G and things like that, it's amazing. But he don't pass the ball like Magic Johnson. He's not a point guard. Magic Johnson is probably the greatest passer. LeBron is a good passer, but he's not like Magic Johnson. That's just a lot right there. LeBron fans put on him because they want to make him better than Michael Jordan. But great passer for a small forward, and he do pass better than some guards, but not Magic Johnson level. But LeBron James, you have to put him up there though. Arguably could be in the top 5 all time. Depends on who you ask. He's number 6 on my list. You know what I'm saying? Because the intangible that he brings. I mean, the old player, what's his name? Oscar Robertson. He's like Oscar Robertson 2.0. I heard a brother say that. I think Chronicles of Judah 144 said that. But yeah, he just Oscar Robertson 2.0. So and the older men that you talk to know how great Oscar Robertson was. So LeBron James was like that. You know what I'm saying? With his skill set and the way he played. You know what I'm saying? So you have to. So I have to put LeBron on the list. I got him number 6. Led Cleveland to a championship. Came back to Cleveland and did that. They came back on the Golden State Warriors. You know what I'm saying? Down 1. That was amazing. I got to give him credit for that. Leading the young Cleveland team in his 4th year to the finals. That was incredible. The way he played against Detroit in that game, what most say was the best game he ever played, when I think he had 48 points. And he had that gleam in his eye like nobody can stop me. And nobody that night. He became a better shooter later on in his career. LeBron James improved his shooting. That's one of the main reasons why I got him over Kobe Bryant, matter of fact, on my list. Because he improved his shooting. And his clutchness. I'm a Jordan guy. But some of Jordan fans don't give LeBron James enough credit for his clutchness, for his clutch gene. Yes, at one point in time, LeBron James wasn't clutch. But as he developed and got better and better and went to Miami, and he went back to Cleveland, his clutch genes got better. And to me, he surpassed Kobe Bryant when it came to being a clutch player. Yes, he did. LeBron James hit a lot of clutch shots. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not one of those Jordan fans. I'm not a fan man or a supporter. Let me get the right word together. But I'm not one of those Jordan supporters that say LeBron James was not clutch. He coming more clutch than we give him credit for. No doubt about it. So, like I said, came back on Golden State, got with the Lakers at an older age, even though it was a bubble championship, and I'm gonna say that championship don't count. I'm not gonna get into that because I wasn't watching the NBA then. I was watching the NBA in 2017. So whatever you brothers want to call it, you call it what you want. But they him from having 4 championships. That's what I'm gonna say he got. LeBron James got 4 championships. So, like I said, LeBron James, man, he when he went to Miami, that boy in Miami, man, I mean, in his prime, which is awesome. I'm not taking too many people over him and in his prime either. Maybe 5 players. But in his prime, he was just awesome. But I have to knock LeBron James for being in that GOAT conversation with Michael Jordan because of the breakdown against Dallas and being six in the finals. I can't. He can't be on Jordan level because of that. He can't play poorly as he played against Dallas Mavericks in 2011 and be the greatest player of all time. To me, that is for us to make a player, an NBA player, with all those great players in the past, to make a player like that who melted down like that, to be the greatest of all time, and to be 4-6 in the final. You lose 2 games more for a championship series than you won, you can't be in that conversation, in my view, because of that. Just can't do it. Just can't do it. LeBron James, to be big as he is, athletic as he is, and just to only have 4 championships after all these years, you can't be in that top. So I gotta put him at number 6. Now, if you want to see now to the most athletic NBA players of all time, yes, he in that top 1, 2, or 3, no doubt about it. But the greatest players, I got him number 6. Number 5, and this is gonna be controversial because I know most of you guys, LeBron James over this player, but no, I can't do it. The great Larry Bird. Wow, the great Larry Bird. Fellas, I'm gonna tell you something. I remember when I was a kid, about 7 or 8 years old, and the NBA used to come on the station all the time. It was Channel 3, where I grew up at, in a small town, Elberton, Georgia. And whenever I used to turn on the Superstation to watch basketball, I used to watch the Hawks play. And this when I fell in love with Michael Jordan. And I would see either the Hawks playing either the Chicago Bulls, the Boston Celtics, or the Lakers. It seemed like they played them 3 teams all the time. When I seen Larry Bird play, I kid you not, I thought that this was the greatest basketball player I ever seen, even though Michael Jordan. I'm not serious. I'm not kidding. Because this dude, to shoot like that, to pass the way he passed the ball, was just incredible to me. And of course, he ended up hurting his back. And in my opinion, I think that's the reason why he didn't become the greatest player of all time, because he ended up hurting his back. And his career ended short. So he only for 9 or 10 year run when he was in his prime. Before he hurt his back, you talking about 10 rebounds per game. Averaged the same amount of assists as LeBron when he was prime. And keep in mind, I just said 10 rebounds per game. That's double digits. That's 3 more rebounds than LeBron James. And LeBron James better than him, which he is, obviously. But Bird averaged more rebound than him for his career. His rebound went down in his later year. It would have been more if he would have hurt his back. So Bird averaged 10 rebounds per game. LeBron was not a better passer than Larry Bird. No matter how great a passer he is, he was not Larry Bird when it comes to passing that ball. The way Larry Bird passed that ball in the post, behind the back, small forward, it was just amazing. Close when it comes to passing, and it's close when it comes to on the all-time list. I wouldn't even get upset if most of y'all put LeBron over Bird. That's fine. I'm just not putting him over Bird. Now, I would put LeBron, like if I had to choose a career, I'd probably take LeBron's career because he got 1 more championship and because he's been so dominant later on in his career. But Bird, only because I thought at one time he was the greatest player I ever seen. And I think that he would have been the greatest player if he wouldn't have hurt his back. That's why I had to put him over LeBron at number 5. And I understand if you, brother, disagree with that and y'all want to put LeBron, I clearly understand that. But I got Larry Bird number 5. Don't that lack of athleticism fool you. Larry Bird dunked the basketball sometime. I mean, he wasn't fast like LeBron or Magic or anything like that. But for that era, what? Luka Doncic right now. Luka Doncic moved like a snail. Imagine what Magic Johnson. I'm sorry, Magic Johnson. Please forgive me. Imagine what Larry Bird would do right now. If Luka Doncic moved just as slow as Larry Bird did, but Larry Bird moved over anybody in the post, left and right hand, the passing, like I said, and he actually was on the all defensive team twice, not with the second team. For you who out there think he didn't have no defense, he steal the ball in passing lane. The clutchness, him and Michael Jordan is the 2 greatest clutch players of all time. No doubt about it. That man was so goddamn clutch. 3 MVPs in a row. Just like Jokic. Larry Bird won 3 MVPs in a row. And like I said, that the clutch genes were just off the chain. Him and Michael Jordan when it come to clutch genes. When him and Bird used to go against Magic and them Lakers team, yeah, the Lakers team won most of the time. Magic, I'm sorry, please forgive me again. Larry Bird player on them teams. When they played against each other, it wasn't Magic Johnson the best player. It was Larry Bird player on that team. Yes, sir. And keep in mind when Larry Bird was the best player out of the 2 teams. I mean, he was the best player out of those 2 teams. I'm sorry, I messed up on my words, but yeah, Larry Bird was that dude, man. Larry Bird came in the league 79 and 80 with Magic, right? And Kareem was still in the league. Kareem won an MVP. He won the MVP in 1980. From 81 on up, when the Lakers were winning that championship, Larry Bird finished the MVP race more than Kareem did. And the 80s era is when Kareem won most of his championship. He won them 5 championships with the Lakers. He won 1 with Milwaukee. But when he was with the Lakers, Bird was in the MVP race more than him. And Bird won 3 P while he was winning championship with Magic. So that lets you know how good Bird was. So I got Larry Bird number 5 on my list for sure. Number 4, the great Wilt Chamberlain. I didn't see Wilt play. I seen highlights. Seen a lot of highlights because I'm a basketball historian when it comes in. It's been like that. Wilt Chamberlain, the stat says it all. 100 points in 1 game. That man averaged 50 points and 23 rebounds in the season. Career average 31 points a game, a little bit under Michael Jordan. I can't put no higher than that, than number 4 though, because when it came in the clutch time against Bill Russell, his average went down. You can't average all them points in the regular season, and then when it comes to big games, your average go down. No, you're supposed to elevate your play in those big games. And another thing, when they won the championship, when he won his first championship, he had great players on his team. Had a couple more players, I forget their names, but they was great players. They Hall of Fame players. I had 3 Hall of Fame players on his team. His first championship. And that was the era when Bill Russell, with him and Bill Russell going against each other, and Bill Russell was winning all championships. So, a lot of people always say, Bill Russell, he had all the best players. That's why he kept on beating Wilt Chamberlain. But Wilt Chamberlain had some Hall of Fame players on his team. So a lot of those years, there wasn't no excuse. Reason why I can't put him higher than number 4, I got to put him in there. I got to put him where I got him at, though, because of those stats. And he was so dominant. A lot of y'all wondering, like, man, LeBron was better than Wilt Chamberlain. Look who he played against and things like that. Brothers. Hey, Wilt Chamberlain played in the 80s, 90s, and right now, that man will still dominate. Any superstar athlete in any era. I'm not one of those dudes, man. I'm not one of them old dudes to be like, man, LeBron James can't play in the 80s. He wasn't dominating in the 90s. LeBron James will still be a superstar in the 90s and the 80s. I can still see LeBron James averaging 25 points a game. No doubt about it. Same way with Wilt Chamberlain. If he played today, he'll average like 31, 32 points a game. Because he's just so dominant in the paint. You talking about an athlete. He was, that's how Wilt Chamberlain was. He was Olympic. He was an Olympic athlete. Running, jumping, and all that stuff. From what they said, Wilt Chamberlain can bench press 500 pounds. So he was that athletic in his time. So I'm not going to pick him for who he played against. So, Wilt Chamberlain, I got him number 4. He did. And I can't have him no higher because he didn't have 2 championships. So, all this is, all this is debatable, fellas. It's just my opinion. From 1 to 5, probably that 1 through 7, you can probably debate. things like that. But just my perspective, just my opinion. Number 3, the great Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Before LeBron passed him, all-time leading scorer. The unstoppable hook. We know how great that was. The stats was tremendous. But one thing I have to knock Kareem, and the reason why I don't have 1 or 2 on my list, is because Magic Johnson was the best player on those teams. Magic Johnson was the best on the teams. And I give it to him. He definitely made an impact, but Magic Johnson was the best player on that team. But most of Kareem's stats came in the 70s. Yeah, they was in the 70s, and he had good stats, in the early 80s. But most of his best years in the 70s. But Kareem, he was that dude. And I just wish that I would have seen more Kareem in the 80s when you talking about the greatest. And that's when he was winning most of his championships. But I got Kareem number 3 on my list. A lot of people probably might disagree with that too, but the stats and all that stuff, and the amount of years he did play, he stayed a lot of years. So I have to keep him at number 3. At number 2, I know this is not fair, but I had to do this because it was so hard. And I respect this dude so much that I had to put him number 2 with another guy. I couldn't pick between these 2 guys. So I got 2 guys, and I'm gonna say number 2, and so please forgive me. That is Bill Russell and Earvin Magic Johnson. I got them at number 2 and 2A. I couldn't choose between the 2. I'm so sorry. I love me some Magic, but I couldn't just put him ahead of Bill Russell. So make Magic Johnson 2A or 2B, however you want to say it. Magic Johnson, man. You talking about no weaknesses. The only weaknesses that the Magic Johnson, them 2 mixed up because they played in the same era going against each other. They was twins. So you get me for getting those names mixed up. Please forgive me. But Magic Johnson, the only weakness Magic Johnson had was a pull-up jump shot. That pull-up mid-range game. Other than that, no weakness. Magic got to a point where he was hitting threes. When Kareem retired, Magic Johnson let him shoot. You let him spot up for that 3. Magic Johnson hit that thing. And everything else he had was still there. And y'all know what that joker had. The greatest point guard ever. Directing the offense. Directing the offense. The passing. Rebounding. 6'9". You know what I'm saying? Pretty good defensive player. Magic Johnson was just so dominant. The greatest leader, him and Bill Russell. That's why I got him 2 and 2A. The 2 greatest leaders of all time. Bar none. To me, it's not even close in the NBA. Them 2 are the 2 greatest leaders of all time. Magic Johnson, just seeing him. And a lot of people say things like, yeah, Magic Johnson, he could have 30 point like Michael Jordan. He just wasn't that type of player. No. Magic Johnson was a great offensive player, but he wasn't like Michael Jordan or nothing. He did what he did, and he was a great traditional point guard. And there was a lot of games where Magic would get you like 27, 28 points, no doubt about it. But that wasn't his specialty. His specialty was running that offense. But when it came time to the clutch, and if you needed those points, he can go point. Earvin Magic Johnson. Some of y'all got LeBron James over Magic Johnson. No. He ain't 5 championships. Yes, he had a stacked team, no doubt about it. But they did it off the draft. It wasn't like LeBron James when he was in Miami. And you know what I'm saying? Then they stacked the team together. And LeBron went to that team, and all of them plotted to get there. It wasn't like that. He can't help that he played with the Lakers, the most popular franchise in America, the Luciferian franchise. You know, he can't help that. So they drafted him, and they always drafted those great players because of Hollywood. You know, yeah, and that's why I can't never put him over the number one player to ever play him in a minute. Because he was on the Lakers and he always had great players. But when it comes to him, LeBron James, and a lot of people, especially today, they put LeBron over Magic Johnson. I just can't do it. If Bird would have never hurt his back, he definitely would have been over Magic Johnson on my list. But once he hurt his back, no. And then Kareem, like I said, most people got Kareem over Magic Johnson because of the stats and stuff like that. But Magic Johnson was the leader, man, of those teams. And like I said, when Kareem played in the 70s, the only thing he was doing was winning MVPs. He only won one championship. He wasn't leading this team to a championship. Magic Johnson led him. So you can't be having all those stats and then just having a couple of championships. And in his case, one championship. Nah. So I put Magic Johnson over Kareem. So I got Magic Johnson at number 2 along with Bill Russell. Let's get to that, man. Another controversial decision on my part. I know it is. A lot of y'all know gonna disagree with that. But the great Bill Russell. Just like Wilt Chamberlain. Olympic athlete, man. Jumping. I mean, shoot, running. That man could have been an Olympic great of an athlete he was. And everybody knock him to the era that he played in. I get it. But 23 per game. Like I said, athleticism. The greatest defensive player. He ain't one of the greatest defensive players. He is the greatest defensive player to ever play. And I think a whole lot of Hakeem Olajuwon at the center position. But he don't got nothing muscle with blocking shots and playing defense. 11 championships. Now, he did play in an era where they only had 8 teams. So I have to knock him a little bit. So he can't be number 1. So he only played against 8 teams. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't any free agents. So he kept those same great players on his team. You see what I'm saying? So I understand that. So, but 11 championships, man. I got Bill Russell was that dude. 11 championships is 11 championships. And he led those teams. Even though he didn't lead the team in scoring, but the rebounds and the defense averaged like 14, 15, 16 points a game. I was telling one of my homeboys on Facebook, and I got this from another brother who brought it to my attention, and I agreed with him. I'm like, why I never thought of that? You imagine Dennis Rodman, bipolar disorder. A version of Dennis Rodman. And we know how great Dennis Rodman was, but imagine a Dennis Rodman 2.0. That's Bill Russell, man. That's how good this dude was, man. In my opinion, he's the only one that close to Michael Jordan in the GOAT conversation. The one that made me think like, man, but 11 championships. And then the last championship run that they had against Wilt Chamberlain team was to win the title that year against Bill Russell team. That year, Wilt Chamberlain was favorite. Most people picked Wilt Chamberlain to win it that year, and Bill Russell beat him again because of his greatness, the way he willed that team to win. The clutch gene, Bill Russell was clutch. That man had it all, man. And that's why he got mad at Wilt Chamberlain. I seen it in the documentary. Wilt Chamberlain got hurt in one of those series against Bill Russell and the Celtics. And instead of him playing, he sat down and didn't want to go back in. And most people thought he didn't want to go in because he thought they were going to lose. He didn't want to complete the drill. They stopped being friends a little bit for a little while because Bill Russell got on him. Because people used to be saying like Wilt Chamberlain was getting the best of Bill Russell. Not in the clutch. Clutch time, Bill Russell wouldn't let his points. So, Bill Russell, man, I got him number 2 on my list. Number 1, Michael Jordan. His airness. 6-0 in the finals, 5 MVPs, 50% shooting from the field career for a man who shot those many shots in the era that he did in. The toughest defensive era of all time. And he shot 50% from the field. And he jacked like 22 shots per game. And this dude shot over 50%. All defensive team. Now, Kobe Bryant was on the all defensive team like 1 time more than Michael Jordan. I think he was on it 9 times. Jordan was on it 8 times. But the difference is that Jordan won a Defensive Player of the Year. At 2 guard, somebody thought about offense and had to lead a Chicago Bull team who didn't have many great players at the time. So he had to play defense, the best player, and do all that scoring and shoot over 50% at 2 guard while he did all that. Let that sink in. The athleticism, the fundamentals. Michael Jordan, to me, the only player that didn't have no weaknesses, man. Retire from basketball for a year and a half, come back, and then win 3 more in a row. 2 3-peats. That's just amazing. 31 points per game for his career. And you know what separate Michael Jordan from Kobe? Michael Jordan was the greatest defensive player during his era. Kobe Bryant was a good defensive player, but Michael Jordan was the greatest defensive player during his era. Gary Payton had like 5 when he played, when he was one of the great defensive players in the league, no doubt about it. But in the whole era, Michael Jordan was the greatest defensive player in that era. Him and the larger one was those dudes on defense. But more in his last great year in 1998 when they won a 6th championship, that was probably his best defensive year. And he was 35 years old. Michael Jeffrey, baby. The reason why Michael Jordan was so great, when he was scoring the way he was scoring, a lot of people were saying that a player that scored like that and shoot like that can never lead a championship team. But Michael Jordan fooled. Back then, you basically had to have a center to win a championship because it was all about the centers until Michael Jordan came along. He the one that started that one-on-one basketball play and won a championship like that Kobe tried to imitate. But Michael Jordan did it shooting a great percentage. And he won 6 championships without a great center. That's hard to do, man. In an era like that, the perimeter player, when you know you're going to get double teamed, when you go to the paint, your shot going to get blocked because everybody's stepping up. It ain't like today, come through there and you just got a clear lane and nobody really ain't at the basket waiting to block your shot. Back then, your shot would get blocked a lot of time when you come in there. But Jordan had so many different moves. He had so many moves just in general on the post. Dominated just like that, man. With no center. That's why I have to give it to Michael Jordan being the greatest. So exciting to watch. The charisma. Intelligent. When you hear him speak, views. He was so intelligent with his speak, with it, with his talk. So just in my view, him with the 6 championships, dominating offense and defense as a perimeter player, no doubt about it. That's the only difference from these guys today. These guys might be just athletic as Jordan, but their mental game, they don't have it like Mike. Kevin Durant is 6'10", 6'11". But Durant can't dominate the game defensively like Mike did. That man should be averaging 4 block shots a game, tall as he is. But the only time he used that height like that is on offense. Come on, man. That's it, brothers. Michael Jordan, the greatest player ever. That's my top 10. I appreciate you, brother, for watching. Subscribe to my channel. The video, share it. And I'll get up with you brothers next time. Peace out.